Hey Tiger Nation, welcome back to another episode of Tiger Insider. I'm Athletic Director Chris Hutchins, Bentonville High School, and this afternoon I'm joined by our head football coach, Jody Grant. Thanks, Coach Grant, for joining us. And the purpose of this is just to promote our programs at Bentonville High School and tell us a little insider information, not so much X's and O's, but about you and some things that have influenced you along the way. So again, thank you for coming, spending the time. I appreciate it. I know you're busy.
I'm glad to be here, so looking forward to it.
Cool. All right, so if Jody Grant's football card, if you flipped it over on the back, and I know you know about football cards, what's it going to say about Jody Grant?
As a coach?
Background. Tell us about your background.
Just overall.
Overall.
Well, I'm originally from Greenwood, Arkansas. That's where I went to school, K through 12. My family moved there when I was 3 or 4 or 5. I don't remember. It's a long time ago. My stepdad, who I lived with forever, he was an F-16 fighter pilot, was the commander of the 188th Air Force Base there in Fort Smith. And my mother was a kindergarten teacher, and I played everything there all the way through. And I have an older brother and an older sister, and then I have a younger half-sister, and even have an older step half-brother, something like that. So a big family. Left Greenwood and went and played 4 years of college football at Arkansas Tech University in Russellville, Arkansas. After I got out of school at Arkansas, I took my first coaching gig at Clinton High School in Clinton, Arkansas for 2 years. That is where I met my wife, Kristen, and got out of there pretty quick, headed to Valonia, Arkansas, and coached at Valonia Junior High and Valonia High School for 3 years. Started our family with our oldest, Ty, during that time. Ty's a senior now. And then moved up here in, I think, 2005, and I've been here ever since.
It's a long time.
Yes, I love it here. This place is phenomenal, and so I hope to never leave.
Yeah, it's a good place to be. So you talked a little bit about your family, your wife Kristen, your oldest son Ty. I know you have other kids, so tell us about your other members of your family.
Yeah, so I have 4 boys. Ty's a senior this year, and he played football and baseball here some, and he just finished playing football. This was his senior year, and he hopes to attend University of Arkansas. He's enjoying his spring semester, just working and enjoying some time with his friends. Trevor, who's a freshman, he is a football, baseball guy, and he's in the middle of his baseball season right now. And then I've got Turner and Tate. Turner's a first grader, and Tate is a kindergartner at Evening Star Elementary, where my wife Kristen is a kindergarten teacher. And those 4 young men keep me and my wife very busy. And it's great. We love it. I tell people all the time, those guys keep me young, and I feel old. But it's been awesome getting to be a dad to those 4 is an absolute blessing.
I see your kids quite a bit here at the basketball game last night, and gosh, they're just running circles, run here, run there, and they're going to keep you young.
That's what they say. We'll see.
Kind of wears me out watching them, but
yeah,
it's good. It's fun to watch the kids. So tell us, you growing up in Greenwood, what all were you involved in? What did you do when you were
so like in high school, starting in junior high, I ran track, I played football, and played basketball. Obviously, when I got to high school, track and baseball weren't super compatible. I had to make a decision. I chose baseball. I was very blessed to be a three-sport athlete. Played a lot, had a lot of opportunities in all 3 sports. I was fortunate to be pretty talented and be around some good coaches. I played football at Greenwood for a lot of Bentonville people know because he worked here, was Rick Rachel. He was my head football coach. And then my baseball coach was David Lloyd, who has been around this conference for a long time. He was at Southside with Coach Lundy for a while. Ended up being the head baseball coach at Van Buren, and is the brother of former AD at Van Buren, Randy Lloyd. And of course, I played for 3 different basketball coaches, one of them being Lance Taylor, who's a part of the AAA. my principal in high school was Jerry Cecil, which is Coach Cecil's dad. So there's a lot of connections there, and I was involved in church there, and it was kind of neat that I had the dad that was a fighter pilot, and basketball games I'd look at the bleachers and he'd be wearing his, I don't know what you call those, pilot suits or whatever, but I had Greenwood's a good little community. It was good to me and my family, and I don't get back there much anymore, but during those years it was good.
Yeah, it's cool. Seems like Greenwood's kind of been a pipeline of coaches and successful coaches, and I know we have several around our complex that grew up there with roots in Greenwood, so it's a good connection to have.
Yeah. A lot of people, try to give me credit for being a part of the success in the football program at Greenwood, and sometimes I take it, but the truth is, the success at Greenwood in high school football started more after I was already gone, but I still try to finagle my way in there.
The roots of it right there. Yeah. Got it going in the right direction. So obviously end up in the teaching field, the coaching field, going through your, starting your junior high or even younger youth leagues, all the way through your collegiate career. Is there anybody that stands out as kind of being your influential person to push you in this profession, or say, I want to be like him or her?
Yeah, that's a good question. I had a lot of influences in my life. I think, my grandpa was a legendary high school coach in the state of Alabama, very well known in that state. He's in the Alabama State Hall of Fame. But I think as far as it goes to Greenwood, I started scouting for Greenwood High School as a 8th grader, 9th grader, as a player. I went with a man named Donnie Johnson, who's the husband of former Superintendent Kay Johnson at Greenwood. A lot of people from Greenwood would be familiar with that. He's passed away, but he would always check me out of school on Fridays, and I learned a lot about the details of the game from him, and it really sparked an interest. And then as I got into college, I just continued to play football. My college coaches became obviously a powerful influence on me and made me want to be more like them and have interest in doing this. But there's a lot of teachers and coaches that were influences to me in Greenwood. And truthfully, and I tell kids this and people this all the time, you can have positive influences and you can have negative influences. And I had both of those in my life. And so the positive influences were the people I try to model myself after, and the negative influences were the people that I try to not model after, and those people that were negative in not just my world but maybe my teammates' world, learn a lot about what they did, so I can try to avoid being like that.
It's good. It's a good answer. So besides being the head football coach and all those responsibilities, you also teach at Bentonville High School. So tell us a little bit about your teaching duties and that part of your job.
Yeah, so I teach a couple different classes throughout the year. I do have a lifetime fitness class that I actually really enjoy. That's individuals in the school that are interested in having a weight workout throughout the day in lieu of a PE credit. So think weight workout daily over dodgeball, kickball, stuff like that. And it's been really an enjoyment for me to watch these kids come in every day, follow a plan, and see success. I teach a regular PE class as well. I've taught some online health. I've taught some online PE. I enjoy doing all those, and it's a big part of what we do. And then I still have an advisory class that I help with, and I still run flex periods, and just like everybody else, I still have a role like everybody else that's outside of being the head football coach.
So you've been the head football coach at Bentonville High School for
7 years.
7 years, and you've been on staff how long before that?
I think since Coach Lunny took over, I'm thinking 16 or 17 years I've been here.
Wow. So it's a long time.
So, yes, it is.
Things have changed a little bit in those years.
Yeah, we were actually having a discussion about some of the places that we used to eat at back in 04, 05, 06 that are no longer around. Hot Dog Alley, you remember Hot Dog Alley?
Yeah.
I was talking to Jack Lloyd about that today. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I can remember going through Bentonville on Sundays and there was no restaurants open.
Yeah.
When I first moved here, you couldn't find anywhere to go on a Sunday. So cool. So we all go to Tiger games on Friday night. We see that part of it, the X's and O's. Talk a little bit about some of the things you do off the field as a head football coach at Bentonville High School, because there's a lot. You could probably talk about it for a long time. Maybe you can just a few. And I know you're not going to hit on everything that you do.
Like, are you referring to like what people don't see, the behind the scenes stuff?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so what, yeah, you got time? Yeah, so I think one way to answer that is like kind of give a day in the life of me, or a week in the life of me throughout the season. You know, I'll start with a Sunday. You know, during the season, our staff is up here about 10:30 in the morning to 11 o'clock, and we work till about 5:30 or 6, preparing for our opponent. And it's a very mental, exhausting day, but it's what you have to do to get ready. And then our work week starts. You know, I'm a part of the freshman practices in the morning, first thing Monday morning, which starts around 6:45 or 7. And then I teach a few classes and do a lot of film study and have individual meetings with coordinators and coaches throughout the day. And we do our install stuff in the film room. I mean, basically every day I'm helping with the freshman practice. I'm meeting with coaches throughout the day. I'm watching tons of film. We watch film with our kids every day, and then we're practicing, you know. So truthfully, in a work week for me and our staff during the football season, we're probably working 80 to 85 hours a week. The good news is we love our job, and it doesn't feel like work. If it's a joy each and every time we get to do it. It is exhausting. It does affect our ability to be great husbands and fathers. We try like crazy. I think that there's a happy mix between all that, but there's a lot that goes into this job that people don't know about. I think Patrick Nix said it great the other day at the Sunday church. Is you got to think of like like a glacier, like what you see above the water is what everybody sees, but what's below the water is really the big work. And when he said that, I just thought that's truthful for a lot of people in their professions and what they do, because a lot of people have no idea.
Yeah, they see Friday night and that's it.
Yeah, they see the results on Friday night, and they don't know all the details that go into it. They don't know a lot. You know, there's a lot of reasons for things happening that people don't know about, but there's always something behind it.
So besides raising your 4 boys, you're also helping raise 120 or 175, you're talking 9 through 12?
Yeah, so I'm blessed to get a new group of kids each year, and so truthfully I have my 4 boys, and then I have about 130 varsity, and then you add in another 70 freshmen that I try to be a part of each and every one of their development in life. And you know, I'll be honest with you, what we try to do as a staff, and something that I've tried to talk to our staff about, is like be more than just a football coach to these kids. You know, you ought to know what's going on in their lives. You ought to know what's important to them outside of football. You ought to be involved in their grades and their walk through life, and I try to be a positive influence. And so that takes a lot to know for all of it, but I think that's one of the reasons I do this profession. And I feel very blessed to get to be around all these kids. Each year when we send out this class of seniors, it's tough. It's an attachment that you get, because I've been with them every day for 3.5 years, and they become like your own kids.
Yeah, it's cool. So if you had to pick 1 or maybe 2 favorite parts of your job, what would that be?
Yeah, there's a lot of my favorite parts. Obviously, walking off the field on a Friday night after a win is a special feeling that you just can't duplicate. After a week of work and your plan and what you've said all week to the kids all became a reality. And so to be able to stand in front of those kids, that just to see the smile on their face, to see that this is all the work and all we do is for this, and that feeling, that's special. But then, just the opportunity to mentor all these kids and watch them grow and develop, and I can't imagine doing anything else. So that's another thing people probably don't realize, what we get as coaches is the reward from that. I mean, I'm sure people get that as a father or as a mother, but to get to do this each year for those reasons is probably some of the best things that I get to do as a coach.
Cool. Well, you've been here a long time. You've coached the Bentonville Tigers as head coach, before that defensive coordinator, and before that as position coach. Is there any moments that stand out as a favorite Tiger moment, or maybe a game or group?
Yeah, so I remember in 2008 when we won our first state championship, to be a part of that. A lot of people, I was fortunate to get to be a part of Coach Lunny's crew when he came in here with Barry Lunny Jr. and some of that crew. And I remember that was a hard thing to do, to change the culture of this program. And Coach Lunny was a mastermind behind that. And for him and our staff to do it so quickly, that 08 championship was really special. I think about the 2010 team that went 13-0 and truthfully really never got significantly challenged. But I think you can find something about every team that's special. I mean, I think back to, our 2017 team that got beaten in the finals to North Little Rock. That was a rough start for us, and a lot of people didn't have a lot of belief in our kids and our coaches, and we kind of rallied the troops, and it was very rewarding to see our kids go do what they did. And I could go on and on about moments like that, but it's the moments that when a kid calls me and tells me they got accepted into a school that they were down to get, or that they're engaged to their girlfriend of however many years, or they've had their first child, or an invitation to their wedding, those are pretty special too. And if you have the relationship with kids that you should have in this profession, those kind of equally feel special as the big championship moments and the big wins and all that stuff. You go through a lot. There's a lot. I think about all the things that we've gone through that where kids share stories with me that are heartbreaking and sad, and to see them get through those it's just a journey, and it's fun.
Yeah, well, it is definitely it's up and down every day.
Yes.
So. All right, we're going to finish up here with kind of a 2-minute drill. I'm going to fire some questions at you, short answer, and we'll learn a little bit more about Jody Grant. How about that?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right, first job.
Are we talking coaching job or just job in general?
Job.
I was probably one of the top weed eaters in Arkansas golf course history at Vashgrass Country Club in Greenwood, Arkansas.
All right, good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Have you passed that skill down to your sons?
No. No, I still do the weed eating because they don't do it. They don't meet my standards.
Okay.
Yes.
Favorite food?
Cheese.
All right. If Jody Grant is taking Kristen Grant, Miss Coach, as I call her, out to dinner, where are you going?
Is she picking or am I picking?
You're picking.
Texas Roadhouse. Now that it's open, we love that place.
The new restaurant in town. All right. If you could turn the clock back to a younger Jody Grant, maybe just starting off in the profession, what advice would you give yourself?
Yeah, well, the good news is I think I've kind of followed the advice that I would give myself, but I think if I was telling the young version of me is always put your family first. Don't let your profession get in the way of being a father and a husband. And I would tell that to any young coach, because it's a struggle, and it can affect, you don't want to have regrets in your world of your family. And so fortunately, I think I've modeled that pretty good, but I think anybody could do better in that category.
Good answers. If the Grants are going on vacation, where's the vacation spot?
We like to go to the beach. We don't get to go very often, but I would say a beach, Destin, Florida, or Gulf Shores, Alabama would be our family choice.
All right. If you're going home tonight, turn on the grill. What are you putting on the grill?
Now, I claim to be one of the top grillers there is. So I've started getting in the hobby of smoking, my smoker, and I do what they call pig shots. I did them for the Super Bowl. That is kibashi sausage wrapped with bacon, stuffed with cream cheese, smoked at 225 for about an hour and a half, and they're golden. They're the best. That's what I would smoke. If I was grilling, I'd probably grill a pork tenderloin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds healthy.
Well, it's good. Tastes good.
All right. If Coach Grant were not Coach Grant, what is another profession that you could see yourself doing?
I've always thought it would be interesting, or something that I would be interested in is being rewarded in your profession financially with your success, which happens in a lot of professions, just not this one. And I think that would, because I'm so driven and motivated, not necessarily by money, just by a motivated human, that I think that would be something that I'd be interested in. What that would look like, what profession that would be, I don't know, but I think it's because I know I'm in the right field and so I've never really thought what else I would be good at. If I could pick my other profession, I'd probably be a professional golfer, but my golf game speaks otherwise.
Well, it's a question you can answer any way you want,
True.
So, right? Biggest pet peeve?
When my kids use all the hot water at my house or leave the lights on. I could go on for days too.
That's awesome. Practice or game?
I love practice, but there's something special about a game. So I'm going to go game on that one, but know that practice is that's where the fun moments are.
All right. Book, podcast, or show?
Show.
That was easy.
Yeah.
All right. Takeaway football, favorite sport?
Baseball.
Okay. And I guess the last question before I guess there's 2 more questions. Last 2-minute drill question. Retirement life. What's the retirement look like for Jody Grant?
Yeah. If I could somehow finagle my way into Florida near a beach, where that involved some golf one day and just relaxing the next, where I could go catch some baseball games in the spring and maybe go watch some football practices in the fall. I think I'll be a really good grandpa when I get older. I'll be the guy who chases, t-ball games and tournaments. Every baseball team has that grandpa. That's going to be me, and I'm going to be good at it. So, yeah, that's my vision, and I'm still a little bit of ways away from that, but I can see me doing that.
All right, last question here is something we talk about in our programs is Tiger DNA. What's that mean to Coach Jody Grant?
Yeah, that's a really good question. For me, Tiger DNA goes back to, if I'm being specific about the way we teach it in our program, is based on our core covenants. And Tiger DNA is being disciplined, being tough, and working together as a unit, as like a second family. So our core covenants are toughness, discipline, and family. But I think having that is truthfully having Tiger DNA. And I think it's a special thing. People in this community are so used to what we have here. I don't know that we always realize, including me and you, how fortunate we are and how blessed we are to live in a community that's so supportive of these kids and these coaches, and having the facilities and the administrators that we have that support our needs to be successful. And that all those people collectively, that is to me what Tiger DNA is.
I like it. Great answer. All right, well, I really appreciate your time today, letting us get to know Coach Grant a little bit more, and look forward to watching many more Friday nights and what's to come. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us on this, and I hope this is a successful deal for us and a lot of people get to know the coaches at Bentonville High School.
Thanks.